U.S. Air Force will fly the newest F-15EX fighter jet, armed with hypersonic missiles. The U.S. Air Force has begun the process of buying its first new F-15 Eagle fighters in more than 15 years. The initial purchase of new twin-engine F-15Xs from Boeing's St. Louis production line could lead to a wider modernization of the Air Force's Eagle fleet. Chicago-based Boeing last delivered an F-15, an E-model Strike Eagle, to the Air Force back in 2004. The Air Force on January 28, 2020, alerted Boeing and General Electric in Ohio of the service's intention to order F-15EX jets from Boeing and the fighter's F-110-129 engines from General Electric. A contract could follow as early as May 2020. The GE F110-129 is a popular fighter engine. It powers half of the Air Force's roughly 900 F-16s and most of the service's 200 F-15s, according to Air Force magazine. Pratt Whitney in Connecticut also makes fighter engines for the U.S. military, but the latest F-15 models are incompatible with Pratt's engines. The Air Force got Congress's approval to spend $1.1 billion in 2020, buying 8 F-15Xs. The service wants as many as 144 new Eagles to replace most of the Air Force's roughly 240 1980s vintage F-15Cs and Ds. The flying branch is proposing to buy 18 each F-15Xs in the years 2021 to 2024 for a total of 80 new Eagles over the next 5 years, according to Air Force budget documents. In the years after 2024, the Air Force has proposed to purchase another 64 F-15Xs. The new planes in total would cost $7.8 billion. The likely result, by the mid-2020s, would be a mixed fleet of old F-15Cs, Ds and S and new F-15Xs. 9 squadrons fly the F-15C and D for air-to-air missions, 3 in the active force and 6 in the Air National Guard. Another 9 units, all but one of which are in the active force, operate the F-15E in the air-to-ground role. The F-15S mostly date from the 1990s. The F-15Cs and Ds are 1970s and 1980s vintage aircraft. Each has racked up more than 8,300 flight hours on average, the Air Force stated. That's roughly double the service life that builder McDonnell Douglas, later Boeing, designed the plane for. The F-15S have tougher airframes than the F-15C and Ds have. The flying branch is upgrading the Strike Eagles with new radars as part of a plan to keep the fighter bombers in service for decades to come. Many of the F-15Cs, however, suffer from structural fatigue that limits their top speed. Many F-15CDs are beyond their service life and have serious structures risks, wire chafing issues and obsolete parts, the Air Force stated. Readiness goals are unachievable due to continuous structural inspections, time-consuming repairs and ongoing modernization efforts. The F-15C and Ds won't make it to 2030, Air Force Major General David Crum, the service's Director of Strategic Plans and Requirements, told Air Force reporters John Turpak and Brian Everstein. The Air Force plans to swap out old Eagles for new ones in squadrons that already fly F-15s, thus minimizing disruption to operations. Replacing the oldest and more tired F-15Cs and Ds for combat missions could allow the healthier old Eagles to continue flying in the training role. The service also is considering arming the new F-15s with a hypersonic missile, potentially making the Eagle Force the branch's first units to perform a new kind of specialist strike mission. The F-15EX purchase has not been without controversy. The Pentagon's Cost Analysis and Program Evaluation Office advocated for the Boeing plane as a means of quickly replacing some of the oldest fighters in the Air Force's inventory, while the service also buys new F-35 stealth fighters. Some lawmakers worried that F-15 purchases would rob the F-35 program of resources, but Air Force leaders have insisted the F-35 is their top priority. So far the new F-15 buy has had no impact on US F-35 orders. Israel also has considered ordering the F-15X. In addition to a number of other capability upgrades, the new variant of the F-15 fighter jet will be able to launch hypersonic weapons once they are available, according to manufacturer Boeing. The plane, known as the X model, is a huge capability leap from legacy F-15s, Boeing test pilot Matt "Fat" Gies said June 19 during a discussion with a small group of reporters at the Paris Air Show. It includes an advanced radar, electronic warfare system, mission computer processor, cockpit display and weapons capacity. The platform can carry up to 22 air-to-air missiles depending on the configuration, he added. National Defense asked Boeing officials if the plane could carry Hypersonics cutting-edge missiles that can travel at speeds of Mach 5 or faster and are highly maneuverable once they are fielded. Absolutely, Boeing Vice President for Global Sales and Marketing Jeff Shockey said. That was a part of the thought process in the design. Hypersonics are a top research and development priority for the Pentagon. They are considered by many observers to be a game-changing capability because of their ability to strike targets quickly and overwhelm enemy air defenses. Defense officials hope to begin fielding the weapons in the early 2020s to keep pace with China and Russia, which are developing similar technology. Earlier during the air show, Raytheon and Northrop Grumman revealed that they are partnering on a new hypersonic cruise missile system that will soon undergo its first test flight. It is one of a number of projects that the US military and industry are pursuing. Shockey said Boeing could deliver the first two F-15EX aircraft to the Air Force by late next year, depending on how the budget process plays out. The Pentagon plans to procure 8 F-15Xs in fiscal year 2020 and a total of 80 over the next 5 years. Some of the work done on the company's next-generation T-X jet trainer, a major program that the company won last year, has carried over into the new fighter variant, noted Gies. We have some advanced proprietary manufacturing techniques that we used on T-X that we have very recently been able to pull forward into our advanced F-15 factory line, he said. We had a nose barrel redesign and other changes to aid assembly, he added. It reduces the time on the factory line as well, he said. It gets you more efficient and allows you to have more throughput. Similarities between the two systems will enable pilots who train on the T-X to easily transition to flying the F-15EX, he noted. Observers have labeled another souped-up Boeing fighter, the F-A-18 Block 3 Super Hornet, as a 4.5 generation aircraft to suggest that it is superior to legacy 4th generation planes, but not as advanced as stealthy 5th generation aircraft, such as the Lockheed Martin-built F-35 Joint Strike Fighter or F-22 Raptor. Shockey said he would describe the F-15EX as at least 4.75 gen. Critics of the proposal to purchase the F-15EX have said it would not be as survivable or useful as the F-35 in a high-end fight against advanced adversaries. The Air Force should be focused on purchasing 5th-generation fighters, the critics have argued. But Gies said other platforms can still play an important role in that type of conflict. The X is certainly complementary in the high-end fight, he said. At the end of the day you have to service the targets, and you do that with precision-guided munitions that could be launched from the platform. One of the main selling points for countries buying 4th-generation aircraft is that they have been less costly to procure,